welcome to another video. Hope everyone's doing alright and that. And welcome to the third and final part of the Mk1 Escort build. If you watch part 2, you'll have seen I got as much of the interior built up as I possibly could. I made a couple of absolute rookie mistakes. The first one being I painted all the parts on the sprues, and then I struggled to get them to stick together. You think I would have learnt my lesson because I do that repeatedly, but I didn't. So hopefully next time I'll get it right. I think I could have got away with just painting the engine, sticking everything else on, then painting it up in situ, but that's fine. The back suspension looks a little bit low. I don't know if that's right or wrong. We'll find out when we get the body on. But it is sitting on the leaf springs where it should be in that. So hopefully it'll be alright in that. The paint colour went astray. That was down to me. I sprayed everything with black primer. And I was meant to paint it blue, but it's reacted and it's gone this purple colour. So I'm going to persevere with that on the body, and hopefully if I paint it black, put a couple of layers of this on, we'll match it in and that, and it'll look fine. I do remember seeing purple Escorts when I was a young'un, so it's not new in that. The bonnet can either go down or up, but they don't give you no bonnet stay, so I'm going to try and fashion one out of a paper clip or something, because I would really like the bonnet to stay upright in that. So grab yourself a cuppa, put your feet up. I'm going to start by priming the body. I'm going to do the inside black, the outside purple. I'm going to varnish everything. We're going to get the rest of the parts on, and hopefully we'll have a little decent Escort at the end of it. Fantastic. Let's get into it.
It's now 2025. Joe's putting the finishing touches on this Ford Escort model. And while he does, let me tell you one final story. This is about Kev, the Escort's last and most loyal owner, a proper petrolhead from the northeast. And this Escort, it was the car that started it all. Kev bought the Escort in early 1983 when he was just 18 years old. He was working as an apprentice mechanic back then, young, eager, and full of ambition. The car had just been traded in by Margaret, a local midwife, who swapped it for a shiny new Sierra. Kev didn't care. The Escort was his dream. It was a little rough around the edges, a few knocks and squeaks, but it had a spark. A deep purple Ford Escort Mk1, still running strong. It was his first car, and it quickly became part of who he was. He used it for work, for weekend drives, and before long, for something a little more exciting. Kev was obsessed with rallying. At 19, he started entering small, local events in the Escort. No trailer, no team. He'd drive the car to the track, race it, and then drive it home again, mud still on the wheels and tools rattling in the boot. Some weekends he'd win, other times he'd fix it by torchlight. He fitted stiffer springs, spotlights, and a second-hand exhaust that growled like a bear. He painted a number 3 on the side because it was the only number he had left in the sticker pack. It looked scrappy, but it worked. And before long, people started to take notice. By 24, Kev had made the leap to full-time rallying. Bigger events, faster cars, real sponsors. He raced all over the UK, then further afield, France, Sweden, even a few dusty miles in New Zealand. But no matter what he drove, the Escort was always his car, the one that started it all. He'd raced works-prepped monsters and classics with more power than sense. But nothing felt quite like the Escort, light, loud, and twitchy. It had taught him car control the hard way, and he loved it for that. By 2000, at 35 years old, Kev stepped away from professional racing. But he didn't slow down. He took part in hill climbs and classic rallies for fun. And when he wasn't behind the wheel, he was writing about it, becoming a well-known car journalist who tested everything from hot hatches to hypercar. He had a good run, a respected driver, a trusted voice in the motoring world. He collected a few classics along the way. A Lancia here, a Peugeot there. But through it all, one car never left his side. The Escort stayed. First in his mam's back garden under a tarp. Then later, after she passed, it was moved to Kev's own garage. Covered in dust, a little faded, but never forgotten. He couldn't let it go. Not for anything. He had the money to get it restored. Icily, but he never made the call. Not because he couldn't, because he didn't want to. This one was personal. It wasn't about money or looks. It was about memory. So, in early 2023, now retired, Kev rolled up his sleeves and did something he hadn't done in years. He lifted the cover, opened the bonnet, and smiled. The blue airbox was still there, dusty, but grinning back like an old friend. He pulled out his old toolbox, tightened a few bolts, fitted a new battery, gave the carbs a clean one afternoon, turned into a week, then a month. Before long, the Escort was alive, again smoking, grumbling, and shaking the cobwebs off like it had just come back from a stage. Kev didn't want it polished or perfect. He left the rally scars, the faded stickers, the worn-out driver's seat with its split edge. That car had stories. It had earned every scratch, every noise. It was him. Now, every so often, he gives it a run around the block. The suspension still sags if you load it up. The gear shift still fights you in second. But when he hits the right note through a roundabout, you can still hear 1985 calling him back. So, if you ever hear the cough of an old engine and the rasp of a purple Escort echoing through South Shields, that's probably Kev, giving his first love one more lap. Some cars are just cars, but some, they become a part of your story. Thanks for watching this build. If you've enjoyed the journey, hit like and subscribe. Joe would really appreciate it.
Right, I think I'm going to leave it there. I've took it about as far as I can. I'm starting to destroy it a little bit with my chubby fingers and that. But there we have it, the Mk1 Ford Escort. Fantastic. I'll put it on the spinny thing so you can have a look at it and that. Like I say, it's not brilliant. But I'll tell you what, this was a tough model to put together. There was some I really struggled to get the body on. I put an elastic band around it and it's chipped some of the paint off and that. I will go back over it in a couple of weeks' time, I think, and try and sort these bits of paint out and that. But I tell you what, the parts on this thing were absolutely minute. Look at the size of the door handles and that. And the petrol filler. Absolutely tiny. But fantastic. I got a good detailed engine, I think. I think the engine's the best part of the whole car, to be honest with you, like. But I made an absolute blunder at the beginning by painting everything on the sprues and that. I won't be doing that again, rest assured, because you thought I would have learned my lesson from the last time. And yeah, that sort of put us on the back foot a little bit all the way through the build. I had to sort of use a lot of super glue so I didn't damage the paintwork and that. That posed its own problems and that with my sticky fingers. That's where all these chips have come from on the paintwork and that. But yeah, fantastic. Right, let's find it a place in the cabinet and bring this video in. Fantastic. Right, I put it up here on the top shelf in between the lifeboat and the Land Rover. I'll tell you what, it looks alright, you know, looks alright. I will go back and touch up the paintwork that I messed up in that in a couple of weeks or so. Right, that's it for the Ford Escort Mk1. Like I said, I will go back in a couple of weeks and touch the bits of paintwork and that up and that. Next time, I'm going to be having a go at this thing, the Revel P51D Mustang. It was the cheapest Revel kit I could find on Amazon. It's a bit of a practice for another big model build coming soon and that. I'm hoping to get a bit of practice in with the airbrush and that. Fantastic. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching and keep liking, keep subscribing and keep making your comments. I do read them and that, and I follow the tips along. I'm only learning, as you can probably tell, and that, and fantastic. I love it. I love it. Have a go yourself. You never know. you might get into it too. So until next time, I'll see you later. Ta-ra.